Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 mistakes people make in crypto mining, and this is coming from kind of my experience. So it's not necessarily everyone, but this is what I've made mistakes in the past, and I don't want any of you guys to fall into it. So hopefully those new people that are crypto mining in this upcoming bull run can kind of learn from these and start to form a plan either for the bull run right now or the next bull run coming later on down the line. So start off at number 5, buying hardware straight away. This is one of the worst things that you can do, so I'll give you an example here. This is Cadena. You might like the coin, you might not. It doesn't really matter, but it had a massive spike upwards in the bull run, and subsequently really bad price appreciation after the bull run. So normally coins would spike quite a lot, but didn't go down as far as this. And the reason I say this is because probably wasn't the best idea to get into Cadena miners straight away as kind of one of the first mining hardwares to get into, because it looked really good as it was going up in price. We can actually zoom this in here. Let's go and click that there. So you can see all the way from around 50 cents up to $22. So that's a 50x in the price of Cadena over time. And at this current time, it was actually very profitable to mine Cadena. One of the examples right here, we can see that there's not actually too many Cadena miners, and the reason for that is because there's not really much point in producing them anymore. There is a new one, the KA3, that released in May 2024, but I'm not sure how many people actually bought that. But these things were going for 40,000, 30,000, 20,000 at kind of the height of Cadena. And subsequently, when you look at the Gold Shell KD box, and you can see this for basically all the miners on this list, none of them are really that profitable. I wouldn't recommend getting into the Cadena miners, but when you look at the year chart, basically it hasn't been profitable at all for one of these older machines. So getting into hardware straight away is one of the worst things that you can do. So you might have seen a video maybe about crypto mining and how it can make a lot of money, but at the time it probably made a lot of money, and that was in probably the height of the bull run. So a lot of hype going around crypto mining, and subsequently all those miners that were really profitable back in the bull run for a lot of coins, even those depinning devices like Helium Hotspot, those were kind of like going crazy and then just fell off the cliff at some point. So you can see how getting into mining hardware, and specifically the wrong mining hardware, everyone thought Cadena was going to go up massively from there and continue to go up, but if you had been in for a previous cycle, you would kind of know it does die down and you should be prepared for that. So I never recommend buying hardware straight off the bat. Always come up with a plan, lay out kind of what you're going to do, how much you want to make, if this coin is, a good coin or not, and then start small. So typically don't go for a bunch of hardware straight off the bat. Go for one bit of hardware, see if you can ROI on it, and then as soon as you ROI on that, maybe go for another one, and then that will keep accumulating over time, and hopefully you'll have a lot of crypto mining hardware over a while. But the main way is to just build up slowly. Don't jump straight in because you think buying, a couple of these machines every day is going to get you $20 profitability, and then you can make however much money from that every day for the next, 4 or 5 years. So don't jump straight into buying hardware. Build it up very slowly. So number 4 coming in, we have learning the difference between efficiency and profitability. I know it seems like a stupid thing if you've been in mining for quite a long time, but those people starting off might just see profitability and go, that's probably the best thing for me. I should go with what makes me the most profits, basically. But even here, so you have on Mine the ASIC profitable miners right here, $20 a day, 14, 9, stuff like that. Now, the most profitable are normally the newest ones, and they are obviously the most efficient. So we have profitability here, and when we click on efficiency, it's not necessarily going to change. But if you keep scrolling down, it does change quite a lot as you go down the list. So the reason for this is that you can be massively profitable, but you can be spending a lot on the price per kilowatt hour, and it's not as efficient. For example, the hydro versions of the S21 compared to the normal S21, they're way more efficient, but they're also drawing a lot more power. So you got to look into how much that actually weighs out if you want to continue paying for that power, how much longer they're going to stay as efficient. Because over time, if you have a miner that is super efficient, but is pulling a load of watts, your profitability margins are going to go and decrease very quickly as either power cost goes up or the price of coin goes down. Now, if power cost goes down and price of coin goes up, then you're golden. But for the most part, profitability and efficiency aren't necessarily linked. And you can get tricked out into being very profitable, but not very efficient. And over time, as I said, prices go up for power or electricity across the world. You are going to become less profitable over time. And that margin is going to close quicker if you have a machine that's pulling a massive amount of watts and is super profitable, but not efficient. So for example, this Baiken Giant A2000, which is I think on SHA-256, I'm not quite sure. But you can see here it's ranked 32 on the profitability, but when we go over to efficiency, it's ranked at number 16. So it's way more efficient than it is profitable. Now that's kind of something that you need to factor in. If you're going to have free power cost, then you might as well go for the most profitable coin. But if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend too much on power and you can get either day or night rates, you want to go for something more efficient that can function and get a sweet in between of, day or night rates, or maybe you have it supplemented with solar panels that are only going to be good for 8 months out of the year, something like that. So you have to factor in a lot of things. You have to set out the plan, as I said in the first one. You have to set out the plan of how you're going to be profitable going over time, what coins you are going to be mining, because that does depend on price action. There's a lot of coins that are volatile. We just saw it with Cadena. That are factors that are kind of out of your hands because bull run, stuff like that, we are going into one. Notably, I would say that the best time to get into crypto mining is in the bear market, because that's when you're going to see profitabilities at their normal rates. And if you can be profitable in the bear market, you can surely be profitable in the bull run. And then moving on to number 3, which is research. Over time of doing crypto mining and of doing YouTube, the only thing that basically I need to do is a lot of research into coins. So not necessarily getting your information from big information places, like for example news and stuff like that. I wouldn't necessarily go for mainstream news because that's not going to give you an overall and in-depth. Even if you type in certain coins, they'll give you kind of a rundown, the tokenomics, but you're most likely not going to understand that, or you're probably going to get skewed information on coins as well because there's not much out there on them. So first thing that I would do if I'm looking into a coin that I want to mine is go read the white paper, then look at the development team. So I can give you a good example of this, and I can give you a bad example, which was Cadena, where the development was great, but there were some pitfalls that I didn't necessarily reach into or dive into, because everyone was saying that it's the next Bitcoin, and that was kind of believing the hype that basically got me to buy one of the miners at the start. But a good example of this is obviously Kaspa coin. Made a ton of videos on this, and you can see the first video that I ever made, I think, was on the 15th of November 2022. So this was around 2 years ago that we made this video. Now Kaspa had already been around for a year, but this was kind of when it was getting into its GPU mining phase, very profitable wise. And I just show you this to show an example of researching a coin. So I didn't necessarily get into it straight away, but I did the research into the white papers, the Ghost DAG papers, the DAG Night papers, how the development team was working, what they were working on, kind of reading basically all the Medium articles that they were posting. So 15th of November 2022, you can see the price of Kaspa coin is around half a cent, and now it's all the way up to 11, but has been up to 20 cents at the all-time high. So that's basically a 40x from here to here. So very lucky that we picked a coin, but also had faith because we did the research into a coin and thought it was going to be very good. Same thing that happened to Alephium on the channel. Now there is a lot of coins that I've researched into and mined that haven't been as good, but over time you kind of get to know what you're looking for in terms of something that will appreciate in price if you mine it now speculatively / profitable to a certain degree. With Alephium, the price had dropped all the way down from $1 at the start of trading, and we were mining it at 14 cents, 19 cents, and now it's up to $1.55. So same kind of story as Kaspa coin. So going back to it, research everything that you can, everything into the miners, everything into the coins basically, how the team develops, how it works, what the community is like behind it. If they're engaging in the coin, that does take a lot of effect into the price appreciation. I know people say that the technology is the main driver, but you need somebody to use the technology for it to actually go forward. So research into everything you possibly can. And then moving on to our second place, stop trying to get financially free. So one of the things that I thought when I first started mining was I saw all the profitability right here. Basically looked on a profitability chart and said, if I can get $28 a day, times it by 5, that would be a decent wage that I could just make every day for the rest of my life. That is not the case, and it's very hard to make crypto mining a living, especially with the electricity costs around the world. Only a select few amount of people will be able to have super profitable electricity rates, and then of that people will be able to make it into financial freedom from it. It also brings into question why you would crypto mine, and mainly it's because it offers a little bit more of freedom financially. It's not going to get you out of your job necessarily, because I don't feel that it can make that unless you're really putting a lot of investment into it, and you know specifically how to get ASIC miners at certain prices, where to buy them, where to host them, even if you have your own hosting facility and stuff like that. So it takes quite a lot to be financially free from crypto mining, and only a select few amount of people will be able to do it. So look at it as more of a side hustle, I would say, but also something that you can enjoy doing whilst also making money, because as soon as you get into crypto mining, you'll learn a lot more about computers, about how money works, in terms of, with the main message being how money works is that you, whilst you're crypto mining, are basically printing money out of thin air, which basically means that you're your own bank for a certain amount of time, and it's still profitable to mine. Overall, you're basically exchanging electricity, or your own money because you're paying for it, for a crypto coin online. But I don't think the goal should be to be financially free necessarily from crypto mining. There is a lot of things that go into it. Even for me, doing a YouTube channel on crypto mining was another way to supplement some of the income for crypto mining. So if I had power rates, I could offset it using the ad revenue from YouTube. So that's another way that you could put into it. Because I thought that buying all of this stuff would, at the time, when we first started the channel, make us financially free. Turns out it doesn't, but it took a long time and a long journey over the past 3-ish years from starting the channel to realize how long it would actually take to get financially free. And the more you get into it, the more you'll start researching projects, and that's when you'll understand how to kind of navigate this and turn it into maybe a business potentially one day. And the last one, I can't stress this enough, you need to hold your coins. So one of the main things that people talk about is paying out of pocket for power, or paying with the coins that you've mined, because you obviously have to pay the electricity at the end of the day or at the end of the month. And holding on to the coins is kind of a risk in a lot of people's eyes. You could just sell the coins, pay for the electricity, and have the profits left over, and that is all yours. Me personally, I think you should hold your coins regardless, just because there is a slight chance that it will be worth a lot more in the future. Even if 10 of them fail, one of them is bound to take off. An example of this is basically every GPU mineable coin that was around maybe 2 years ago. Nexa, Ironfish, Radiant, Lithium, Kaspa coin, Raven coin, Flux, Ergo, all of them. At the time, I didn't really have anything to spend the power on, so I just paid it out of pocket, held all the coins, and over time, a lot of them had gone down. So Nexa, Radiant, Flux, Raven coin, Ergo all went down, but then there was 2 that actually, came up and appreciated in price, which outweighed basically all the downsides of the other ones that didn't come up in price, and those were Kaspa coin and Lithium. So for example, I'm just going to lay this out right here. You have revenue and profitability. So let's say that your revenue is $12, and let's say your profitability is $2. You're going to be paying $10 for electricity every day, basically, and that does depend on the power cost. and you're going to be paying that $10 every single day when it could have actually been in the coin that you were mining. One of the biggest examples of this is Bitcoin. A lot of people would just sell it off as their profits to pay for the electricity. I think that over time we've seen that. Bitcoin was at 16k maybe a year and a bit ago, and now if you had held all those coins from there, and it would have appreciated around 6 to 7 times what you had paid for it back then. But if you had paid out of pocket, then you would have been able to keep all the coins and seen that appreciate a lot more. So as I said, we have done this and we've lost out on some of the coins, but the ones that did rise far outweighed the ones that had dropped in profitability, or at least dropped in price, sorry. Same thing with Kaspa coin, same thing with Lithium, as we always say. If I had just sold the coins off here, I probably would have had at least, half of the coins that I have now. So when it comes up to here, I basically lost half of the coins, and I've used my money, which is inflating away anyway, to pay for electricity, which goes into cryptocurrency. But remember, you also have to be profitable to make that work. If you're unprofitable, there's not really much point in mining, just buy the coin. So those are my top 5 mistakes that I've made in cryptocurrency mining. Hopefully it's helped some of you guys out, and let me know your thoughts in the comments or any mistakes that you've made to give people more information and knowledge on crypto mining that are just getting into it. Make sure you like the video and subscribe for more content like this.